Jake Paul, Casey Putsch, and Brandon Herrera. What do these three have in common? And why is it important to you? Well, I will tell you here in just a minute on the other side. Welcome to the Beacon. Thanks for clicking onto my clickbait, except it's not actually clickbait. There is a new party in Congress, a new political order. Three people are running, or two people are running in this year's midterms that are from a party that has barely dipped their toes in politics. However, they might just be the future, and I will prove it to you. And even Trump did. I don't know why I'm talking like this is an intro. It's not. But I'm going to prove to you. So Casey Putsch, he is a YouTuber. Casey the Car Guy, he has 351,000 subscribers. Jake Paul is a YouTuber and a boxer with 51 million subscribers. Brandon Herrera is a YouTuber with 4.2 million subscribers. And a second channel, kind of. It's mostly him, and it's him and his buddies. But yeah, he's got a second channel with like just under 1 million. So what do these three people have in common? They don't all live in the same state. Casey Putsch is from Ohio, Jake Paul, Kentucky, and Brandon Herrera is from Texas. But I'll tell you what they do have in common. They're all running for politics. And why does this matter to you? Because none of them are politicians. So in the past 20 years, past 10 years really, there has been a shake-up of the way politics is changed or has played out. Typically, historically, politicians are just that, politicians. They've been in politics most of their career, or their parents have been in politics. We're seeing a change up with that. It started with Trump. President Donald Trump was not a politician. In fact, he barely came from the second party from where you went into politics, Hollywood, though he did have some experience there. President Donald J. Trump was a businessman. He owned hotels all across America. And then he became the 45th president of the United States. That changed the game. Since then, there's been more ground-shaking news when it comes to politics. So Casey Putsch, he's running for governor of Ohio. Jake Paul, he's not running for politics, actually, but Trump has endorsed him in case he decides to. I don't have that video to play right here, but I'm going to put it in post. So
Jake Paul is a great guy, and part of the deal is he said, "Do you mind if I do an interview with you?" I said, "Jake, I'm the president of the United States. I don't do interviews. Look at Joe Biden. He went 2.5 years without doing an interview because he was shot. But he was shot 30 years ago too. He was no good. But I said, Jake, I'm president. How can I do your local podcast? But his local podcast is big stuff, and he's big stuff. Jake, you got to come up. Come here. You got to. This guy has guts. And he walked out with a broken jaw. Anyway, this was not the greatest fight, but you know what? It showed lots of courage. Come here, Jake.
Yeah, what Mr. Trump has taught me is courage. We never back down from a fight, even if they're much bigger than you, much bigger than you. And I feel all the local Kentuckians feel the same way. You guys have that fight. You guys have that swag. There's a lot of young kids in here. The future of America. I grew up just a few hours away from here. My dad taught me to fight, and all of our voices matter in America. And I'm never afraid to speak the truth. And I know you guys aren't. We're here representing the United States, and it's just a blessing. Thank you, Mr. Trump. We need more factories like this thriving all over the country, and I know he's going to be the one to bring that here to us. I know God is with us. I know he wants us on the right side of history, and everyone here has to do their part. And God's got us. Trump's got us. God bless. Love you, Kentucky.
Now, he's a great guy. He's a courageous guy and a talented guy. He's a hell of a fighter, too, by the way. And I just want to say, I'm going to make a prediction that you will be, in the not-too-distant future, running for political office. Okay? And you have my complete and total endorsement, okay?
And we're back. Yes, Jake Paul has been endorsed by Trump. It was kind of crazy. I mean, he's not even running for any political office. He's a boxer and a YouTuber. So why is Trump endorsing him? Because YouTube is the next political field. Brandon Herrera, 4.2 million subscribers, running for the 23rd District Senator of Texas. Those three aren't the only ones. Trump himself ran on a second term largely on YouTube and TikTok. Influencers, YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagrammers, all these people, they are your next level. Actually, there is a woman running for the Senate in Illinois who's also a TikToker. These people aren't your politicians. However, they are trying to be. But not the way that Bernie Sanders or Nancy Pelosi or even JD Vance or Trump are. These people are just trying to make it politics the way it's supposed to be, the way our founding fathers wanted it. People, the government, serving the American people. So who are these people? Casey Putsch. He has, like I said, he's got over 350,000 subscribers. He runs a car channel. It's all about cars. He started a car fix-up class for Ohioans. Created like a super efficient diesel car. What else? He's in Ohio. Recently, over the past few years, he's gotten more into politics. He's even talked to people like Tucker Carlson. He was on his show once, talking about diesel cars. Jake Paul. He is a boxer. He's really famous for his whole Mike Tyson fight a few years back where he beat up a 58-year-old man, 57, however old Mike Tyson was at the time. He got a lot of backlash for that. But he's also trying to show he's got that typical YouTuber appeal. He has an idea that seems kind of crazy, like, oh, I'm going to box the best boxer of all time, Mike Tyson, or Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali's probably the best. I don't know much about boxing. I just know that he's another one of the names. But it's either one of those two. And Muhammad Ali is passed away, so you can't really box that guy. So you got to go with Mike Tyson. And he's got 21 million subscribers. Brandon Herrera, aka the AK guy. Well, if you didn't just get that he's a gun guy. If you know Demolition Ranch, there's a few others. The names escape me. My brother could tell you all about them. It's his whole world. He shoots guns for a living. He lives in Texas. What do you expect? A YouTuber from Texas? Yeah, of course he shoots guns. I mean, I'm here for it. I love guns. Guns are great. I go shooting a few times a year, not as much as I used to. I've gotten a little busier and haven't prioritized it, but I've shot quite a bit. You used to be part of the trap team. So Casey Putsch, he is running because he is tired of seeing millionaires and billionaires run for office. Now, his main competition in his eye for governor of Ohio is Vivek Ramaswamy, a billionaire, who is a first-generation American. His parents moved here from India. They naturalized as American citizens. So would that make him a second generation? He's first-generation born American. But he struck it rich with a biology tech company, and he's a billionaire. I've actually met the guy. It's very brief and short period, but I did get to shake his hand. So I have shaken at least hands with one billionaire. Is that like 1-0 for you and me? Well, that's a very weird thing to brag about. If you go to people like Trump, he probably blows me out of the water. But I'm a 17-year-old in my garage filming a political podcast on my phone, and he's president of the United States. I would sure hope he has shaken more hands of billionaires than I have. Jake Paul, he's not running, so there's that. Brendan Herrera, he's running because Tony Gonzalez, yes, that was his name, not to be confused with Speedy Gonzalez, a Republican senator for his district, was, well, I can't use the language Brandon would use, but he was basically screwing over the district. He was voting for anti-gun laws. He was really just a rhino. Republican only in name. No, Republican in name only. Rhino. And Brandon Herrera was sick of it. This is actually his second time running for this seat. The first time was 2 years ago, and he barely lost by like 200 votes. This year he came back with a vengeance and beat Tony Gonzalez in the primaries. However, neither of them got over 50%, and so it went to a runoff. A few days after the primaries, Tony Gonzalez did drop out. So, Brendan Herrera has beaten Tony Gonzalez. Now, the 23rd district of Texas is a very red Republican district, but there's still the actual election here in November. I don't know who his running mate or opponent for that district is, so I'm actually looking it up now. Anyway, how's your day going? Mine's going quite well. Very busy. Had a lot done with school today. Had to make sure doing this. So, okay. Katie Belinda Stout is the Democratic candidate for Texas's 23rd congressional district. She won the Democratic primary March 3rd. All of that. Yep, okay. Yep, talking about Tony Gonzalez dropping out. Incumbent Republican Tony Gonzalez dropped out after a scandal. Very slimy dude. And actually, if you look at a picture of him, he just looks like a slug, like a worm, like one of those weird space. The caterpillar from Bug's Life. He looks like the caterpillar from Bug's Life. And then if you look at any picture of Tony Gonzalez, I'm just going to throw a few. There's 1. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to make my face picture of what's his face? Brandon Herrera. Yeah, look pretty sexy. I've been watching way too much of his content over the past week since I've learned of him, and he is hilarious. Very, very funny. Lots of. If you don't like military humor, you're not gonna like it. He grew up in a very military family. Never served himself, but he grew up with military humor, and so that's very much his style of humor. But he's done a few different types of content, and he is someone I am rooting for. I think he would be a great senator for Texas or for any state, and I'm excited to see what he does. Casey Putsch, the other YouTuber who's running, I'm a little less excited for. I found out about Casey about November, end of November, early December. I learned about Brandon last week, so I might find some gunk on him too. And until recently, I was all for Casey Putsch. I thought he was going to be a great candidate. I still think he would be a good candidate. However, I no longer think he's going to be a great candidate. And let me tell you why. I agree with him 80%. And for a politician, that's pretty good. There's very few I agree with more than like 80%. Even President Trump, it's only about 80% for me. And I agree with him. The war on Iran, not entirely sure where I stand there. Casey Putsch, however, what really makes me not want him to be the man for Ohio governorship, he kind of complains. And ever since he first announced that he was intending to run for political office back in November, he has slowly become more and more of, frankly, a whiner. I don't know about you, but I don't want any governor of any state to be a whiner. I mean, we've seen how that works in California. Just look at Newscum. Uh, yeah, not great. We don't want a whiner. We want a doer. And Vivek Ramaswamy, there's plenty of things there as well. He's got a lot more money than he's got a lot of money. He's rich. He's uh not necessarily super American. He's an American. He's an American. I don't care whether you've been here since the Mayflower or if your parents just moved here and then you were born here, you're an American. If you came over the border illegally, I want you out. I don't want you here. I don't care if you sex offender. I don't care if you're a terrible criminal. I don't care if you're a great guy, a great woman, an abuela. I want you out. I know plenty of people who've come here legally, and they are great people. I will love them. They're great. Growing up, there was another family that I was very close with. Like they were brothers and sisters to me, and their mom came from Puerto Rico legally. She came here illegally. Well, actually, Puerto Rico's America, so that's a little bit different. But still, if you come from another country, there was actually a family that used to go to my church who came from the Switzerlands. They came over for work. They still come back a few times. They've moved back after a few years here. Still come back to say hi to friends, hang out with them. They were fantastic. Like great people, lovely people. Their accents are fantastic. Like the Scandinavian people, they have great accents. Like, really, as long as you're not American, you have a good accent. Because as Americans, we don't have an accent, you see. Unless you're Southern American, then Southern United States, then you got an accent. But otherwise, inside of the US of A, you don't have an accent. Even up in Canada, you've got the. Oh gosh, excuse me. Excuse me. Even up in the great Canada, American top hat that we beat a few weeks ago in their own sports, they have an accent, eh? And us Americans, we don't really have an accent. But that is a tangent. I've been on a tangent for the past few minutes, though, haven't I? Back to why this is important. And there's been two main political groups, apart from the parties, who have been in politics. There is Hollywood, and that's where you got Reagan. That's where you got Trump. And then there is just the politicians in general. I've talked about that a bit earlier. And so both Reagan and Trump, they were actually strong. That's a tangent. That doesn't matter. So now we have this third group, and even Trump is kind of in this group because he capitalized off it in his last election, and to get his second term, and that's the demographic of influencers. They're taking over, and it's not a bad thing. We're starting to get fresh blood, and these people they've created a following on YouTube, doing whatever they love, whatever they want to create. But then they care about America enough that they are running. They are sacrificing their time. Brandon Herrera has sacrificed hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars for his campaign, and not to mention all the time that he's stayed away from creating videos for. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't really want to. He's joked that he does, for the sake of America, he's doing it, but for the sake of sanity, he doesn't want to do it. Like, for the sake of America, he wants to win. For the sake of his sanity, he doesn't want to. Like, that is him in a nutshell. He doesn't want to. These people are servants. These people don't want the fame. They don't want the power necessarily. They just want a better life, a better America. Even apart from Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, they are America first without being MAGA. Their whole thing is for America first. And President Trump is very much America first. However, he's America first, and he has lived in the upper class his entire life. He's lived in the upper class forever. He knows those people. He's hung around those people. So he's not much different than the politicians. However, for much he is different from them, he's very similar. He's been in the same circles the entire time. So these men, and maybe there's the woman in Illinois. I don't know her name. I'm not looking it up right now because I felt like that took forever and wasn't great content for you guys. They are America first. They are just like George Washington, just like John Adams, just like our original politicians. They're sacrificing their time and money for the American people, for the betterment of America. And so these are true patriots. These are good men. We don't care about fame. Now, before I tell you about a former YouTuber turned politician who's doing it less for himself, although still quite for himself, or less for America and a bit more for himself, let me tell you about today's sponsor. Today's sponsored by you, my viewers. If you know, to my 2 subscribers as of recording this video, I know you quite well, and this isn't up to you. This isn't about you. Get out of here, you scumbags. But to all of you who are watching and aren't subscribed, I don't know you yet. I can't call you scumbags because I don't know you. So please come subscribe, and I do a weekly upload as much as it kills me. My parents are annoyed at it. I do a weekly upload on a political matter. I've been doing more major events, and I've realized that's not what you want. So I'm going to start getting into these more niche details, like YouTubers turned politicians. Okay, all right. And if you do enjoy, please make sure to like. It helps get people attention. Helps the algorithm push me a bit more. And trust me, people don't. The algorithm doesn't want to push me because I'm political. I'm Republican. Like YouTube doesn't like us. YouTube doesn't like us. We gotta stick together. And then while you're there, just maybe sneak down some comments and leave a little juicy nugget. Say what your favorite part was, something that also helps draw more people in, okay? Okay? All right. Back to politics. Yeah, I don't have a transition for that, okay? I'm not a big YouTuber. I'm not a big podcaster. I'm not Michael Knowles with a fun, like, rainbow. Well, not rainbow, but red, like, colorful transition. I just don't. I don't have the budget. I don't have the time to make one myself. I don't really want to. I think it's more fun if I just say transition. Okay, and we're transitioned. Matthew Patrick, if you are a Gen Z teenager or who grew up in the 2010s, you probably know that name. Unless you're homeschooled. And then you probably don't. But even then, you might. Especially if you're a teenage boy. Teenage girls are starting to get more into it with one of his newer channels. Actually, he's not on YouTube anymore. He has retired. He retired among the big wave of retirees. Like last year before? No, it was last year. Yeah. A bunch of YouTubers retired last year. It was weird that like they all happened within like a few weeks. But either way, Matt, as he's commonly known, has retired and gone into politics. Now, why is this important? Well, as of now, his channels, which he has passed on to others, but still he grew up most of these numbers. Pardon me once again. It has been sick season. I am telling you, even everyone, including the dog, is sick, and I don't even have a dog. But his YouTube channels, there's 5 of them, range from 2.78 million subscribers to 19.6 million subscribers. That's Game Theory with 19.6 million, Film Theory 13.4 million, Food Theory 5.54 million, Style Theory 2.78 million, and GT Live with 3.61 million. I'm sorry, this is a math class. I know you don't like numbers. Either way, the numbers are important. But he went from not politics, from YouTube into politics. Now he's much more of a liberal when it comes to politics than the other candidates on this list. But still, he's doing this for the betterment of other people, not necessarily himself. He's not running. No, that's not what he's doing. He's not running for Senate. He's actually advocating to those in Congress, to those in places of position, to create new bills to help the digital creator economy. He created the Creator Economy Caucus, the goal of which is to do kind of what I just said, to teach lawmakers how to make laws to help content creators, or YouTubers, or Twitch streamers, those kind of people. He just wants to be the bridge that kind of covers that gap from lawmakers and kind of the more normal people to YouTubers. Even though that bridge is kind of forming itself through the likes of Casey Putsch, Brandon Herrera, and others. So, yet again, another example of YouTubers going into politics. This is going to have lasting impact. And if you want to get into politics, I'm going to tell you right now, you'll blow some stuff up. I mean, that's what Brandon Herrera is doing. Or move to Texas, then blow stuff up, and then run for Texas, for someplace in Texas. The Texans love blowing stuff up. I love blowing stuff up. I'm not even from Texas. Go blow something up on YouTube. If you do it consistently, you'll get a lot of views. Then you can run for political office. That's the new strategy. All right, are you ready for some short snippets instead of a big, long ramblingness? If you're still watching and you aren't one of the two people already subscribed who I know by name, well, thank you. Now, let me get to the not quite so juicy and good stuff, aka the America's Counter Cartel Conference. Technically, I think this happened in time for me to talk about it last week on my episode, and I didn't, just because I didn't really know anything about it. Now I do, a little bit. So there has been, sponsored or started by Pete Hegseth and President Donald Trump. There's now this kind of conference of American countries, that's North and South America. And actually, by Joves, let me, please let me, it's going to be the greatest. Let me name off these countries. Are you tired of me saying let me? Okay, let me start. Argentina, Bolivia, my bad. Chile, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guyana is what it looks like. I believe it's Guinea. No. It's this word that sparkles. Honduras, Panama, this word. Trinidad and Tobago, and of course, the beautiful, the greatest, the cleanest. The Trump administration, they're not allowed to say coal before saying clean and beautiful coal. The clean and beautiful United States of America. Hey, you like my Trump commercial? It's not very good. Also, question, just a very random tangent before I jump right back into this. What do you think of me cutting my hair? My long, luxurious, beautiful hair. No, now I gotta fix it without a mirror. Stupid me. What do you think of me cutting it? Getting it short? Eh? 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 We're not Canadians. Why am I saying it? She couldn't. Okay, but there were a few countries who were missing at this council. Those were Colombia, Mexico, and Brazil. They did not show up. I don't know if they were excluded. I don't know if they didn't get the invitation. I don't know if Mexico was a little busy dealing with their own cartels, or Colombia was a little busy sponsoring cartels, or Brazil was just being Brazil. Sorry, my friends in Brazil. I know there's at least one person watching from Brazil, because I know people in Brazil. And if you are in Brazil, get out of Brazil, because Brazil is Brazil. And I I actually don't know much about Brazil. They just weren't invited. So I'm picking on them. Anyway, so that's about it. They all kind of decided we're going to work together and get rid of cartels, because whatever attacks like one America also is going to affect the other Americas. So it's kind of like the Don Roe document. The Monroe, and then you change it to the Don Roe. Yeah, the new one, the Don Roe. And then we have, so this is like helping establish that dominance over the Western Hemisphere. Yeah, the Western Hemisphere. That's us. Yep. Finally, in Michigan, yesterday for me, Thursday for you guys, last Thursday for you guys, depending on when you're watching this. There was a synagogue attacked in Michigan by, well, can you guess who? It was a Muslim. Because of course it was a Muslim. It's always the Muslim. That should be plural, but it's always the Muslims. Always, like, oh, there's a shooting. It wasn't. It was a Muslim. Or the other answer is a transy. Like those two, I feel like there's been so many shootings recently where it's either Muslim or transy. I think there was one or two where it was just a normal white guy. Okay, that's cool. But otherwise, Muslim, transy. Anyway, that's it for the show today. Thanks for watching, and God bless. I'll see you next week.